This is Her Standards. We are at the 4 Points by Sheraton Airport Hotel. Today, we discuss life after prison. What does it look like? And our panelists will also tell us what life looks like after the freedom. My name is Quinta Bori. To follow this discussion, you can talk to us on all our social media pages. We are available as KTN Home across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or you can talk to me directly on Queenie Mbori on Facebook and Instagram, as well as Queenie Saina on Twitter. Today, I am joined by this amazing panel. We want to have a very intriguing discussion. And without further ado, I'm just going to allow my beautiful panel, you look so lovely, to introduce themselves. So I will start with the, surprisingly, we are melanin equipped on this show today. This is happening, it only happens on Her Standards. So from my extreme right, kindly tell us who you are, what you do, and how you're feeling about today.
Yeah, I'm Sarah Odima. I work at Clean Start as a life coach, and I'm excited, looking forward.
What do you do at Clean Start?
I'm a life coach.
What does that job involve?
Yeah, life coach, basically I use my life experience to help women who've been behind bars. Yeah, to just be aware of their potential and to reach out to this potential and become everything they should be in life.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I just make them know what they are good at, what they are passionate about despite everything that happened, and reach out to it.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to allow my next guest to introduce herself.
Okay, so my name is Cyprian Omolo.
Yes.
And at Clean Start, I am the curfew program lead and also head of internal services. And when I talk about curfew, I mean it is the coalition of formerly imprisoned women. And we want to ensure that formerly imprisoned women are authors of their own development at grassroots level, and they are able to lift one another up and have a community that is able to give them a support system for them to reintegrate successfully back into the society. So that is my passion, that is what I feel good about, and that is my calling.
Thank you so much. You know, just as we had mentioned earlier, on today's discussion, we are talking about life after prison for women. And one thing that my panelists have in common is that they have actually served time. And I just want, first of all, to thank them for the courage and the vulnerability of allowing themselves to be here, because not so many people are proud of that tag. So I'm going to allow them, because I think it is important, to each tell us their story. Where do you come from? What happened? If it is not too much to ask, what happened and how was that experience for you? Let's start with you, Cyprian.
Okay, great. So thank you so much. So I served time at Langata Maximum Women's Prison, and it's a long story that maybe we may not be able to cover in this show. But I served 6 months because of a death. And after that, I lost my husband, and life reintegrating or coming back into the society was quite difficult. And having seen what women go through when they're in prison, I had this desire to make sure that any woman who has been in prison does not go through what I went through. I'm lucky because I had the family support, and the support system around me was so tight, and that is what kept me going. But if I didn't have that, then I would have definitely gone back to prison, or I would be doing something totally different. I will not be the person I am today. So served 6 months, paid the debt. I'm still struggling with rebuilding my life and putting it back together. And so the journey after prison is actually the most difficult. And people find comfort in being in prison because it comes comfortable, other than going to face the society who gives you a second sentence after serving time.
Wow, we'll get back to that experience about, coming back to the society and trying to reintegrate your life and building up that. I want to know what happened.
Yeah, I'm one woman who is so passionate to see a woman empowered.
Yes.
And especially with what is happening right now, you see so many women are financially struggling, really, really struggling. I was a recruiting agent here, and there was some money that was not handled well where I was working, and it ended me in prison. Yeah, but that did not stop me from having that passion of seeing a woman empowered and using the right techniques to earn money. So while I was serving my term in Langata, I was given a 3-year sentence, and it was not the best experience, especially when you know that you've left your family behind, you don't know how they are doing, you know, it is so traumatizing. But I'm a very positive woman. While I was just there, I didn't know what next. I just didn't know what next, but I was always waiting for what next for me. What's gonna happen after this? And that's when Clean Start came with a program of mind shift change, yeah? Because, you know, when you go through a criminal justice system, there's a lot of trauma, a lot of revenge, you know, you feel like, I don't know, you know, you feel a lot of bitterness, you know, hatred to even the judge himself. But I am so grateful for the program that Clean Start brought that made me know that the judges are doing their job. The police, even if I felt they were unfair to me, so far I really felt they were so unfair. But I came into term of I have to take responsibility because I have a life ahead of me. And that's how my mind was changed. You know, I got the grace to forgive, let go, and I was able now to start healing from inside. And immediately I left prison. That was my #1 mandate, that let every woman who leaves prison be given a chance to get to know what is happening in your life, get to know what is happening inside your inner world and even the outside world. Fine, people are going to judge you, they're going to do everything, but what matters most is you. How do you see yourself? You know, how do you view yourself? Fine, it has happened. Things happen and sometimes it's out of your control. But how do you view yourself? And that's how I'm so passionate about life coach. You know, you need to know, who are you? If somebody came today and asked you, who are you? The first thing that somebody might even answer is the label they got when they went to prison. But that's not who you are. You know, you're a woman, you're a mother, you are a beautiful being, you know. And that's what we remind the women who are behind bars, that you are a woman and there's something beautiful about you. That's what I wake up to do every day.
Very nice, Esther. You know, you mentioned that you felt as if the police were unfair to you.
Yeah.
And you said prison is very unfair. Probably if you could just highlight some of the low moments that you went through while in prison. And then while you talk about that, was there anything good? Was there anything positive that you came out with after serving your term?
Yeah, definitely low moments are there so much because there's a lot of confusion. And as you're going through the criminal justice system, you're basically never given time to even say anything because we believe so much in the lawyers, yeah? Even when you feel like, I think I need to talk, but you see now you have a lawyer who is supposed to speak on your behalf. And there are lessons to learn. You learn a lot. Basically, I came out with a lot of lessons and learnings I got from there. #1, a woman needs to know her right. That's the first thing. Know your right, you know. I didn't know my rights. If I knew what I know today, I think I would have stood better even without a lawyer and speak for myself that this is how things were, this is how everything is. And maybe I wouldn't have ended up behind bars. Yeah, so right now, I came out with that knowledge of I need to check my, you know, if a case comes, how do you build your grounds? How do you build the evidence? Because most of the time we have the evidence, but we just don't know how to present ourselves. Yeah.
Wow. Cyprian, I'm sure you had a life before being incarcerated. What was that you were doing? And above all, do you remember the first time or the first night in that prison cell? How did it feel like for you?
So I had a life, and I lived with my then husband in Nairobi, and I was working. And having been a lady who always found her way, and being this person who was I was able to make everything work and run, I had a good life. And I had a daughter who was by then 2 years old. My husband was very sick. He had a heart condition, and so most of that time was spent in and out of Aga Khan Hospital, just taking care of him, and the medical bills went soaring over the roof, and I had to really take care of him. And that's how come, trying to find alternative ways of making a living, I ended up in debt. And that was amazing. But stepping into Langata and just that shift, the first night, when the judge says that you have to go to prison, I was like, I was disappointed in myself. I was devastated. I was angry that this is happening. The shock. So you get into prison, and this first night, the first time I stepped in, apparently there was some sort of fight going on within the prison system, within the prison, the women and the guards. And it's your first time, and you know you're stripped of your dignity. So you are stripped of. Literally, you have to strip and be naked for you to be, for them to do the search. And this war breaks out, and this woman is new. This is a new environment, and you don't know where to go to. And so there are gunshots in the air. And as this is happening, I am new, I don't know. Every room is locked, so I'm outside. And that was dehumanizing. That was crazy for me. Just trying to find myself, and I think it has taken so much work and so much time to heal from that experience. And I went over Christmas, so the place was crowded. And I remember having to sleep under we used to, because I was at the remand section, and we never slept. We never had, what is it called? There were not enough beds. The place is crowded. People are sleeping, 4 of them. So they put the 2 deckers together and you sleep, the 4 of you. But because there's no space, you have to sleep down. And this space is so small. So you're literally sleeping under the bed under somebody else's bed. And so that was not interesting. And looking at that, and I was never convicted because my family came and helped me and supported me to clear that debt. But those 6 months, and being in the remand section, knowing that in the remand section, unless you are proactive and you want to do something, there is nothing you are doing for 24 hours. So I spent time perched on a bucket and many nights reading, taking my mind out there, because I realized that I was actually getting depressed. So reading anything and everything I got. So even if somebody came in with a newspaper that was for 5 years ago, I would still read it to just keep my mind occupied. And after those 6 months, luckily enough, I was out. So yeah, that's how it looked like.
After you came out,
Yes.
then you're hit again by the loss of your husband.
Then I'm hit again with this loss, and I'm trying to rebuild. So you've lost everything. So you're starting from negative. You're starting from literally negative. I had to go and live with relatives because that is the only thing that could happen at that time. And my daughter was staying with my sister, and still is staying with my sister because of those challenges. The challenge has been trying to get her back, because there is a bond that has been created this way. And the Lord has been so gracious that even after I left, He has put me in platforms and places that I will never believe that I would be. So I have traveled a lot since 2015, traveled a lot, gotten opportunities, and to be in places that that most formerly imprisoned women have not been able to be. Yeah.
Do you think that's a blessing in disguise?
I am happy I went through the prison system. Because if I didn't go through that system, I would never know the other side or understand what women go through. And for me, I believe that because after that, I went for a leadership training in South Africa. I went to London. I got an opportunity to go for the Global Change Leaders. I was selected in 2020. We couldn't do that because of COVID. And I am now the Global Thinkers Mentee at Athena 40 this year. So those are things that only came because of the experience I had and wanting to make a difference in the lives of women who are trying to rebuild, who are trying to get out of that trench, who are trying to just find somebody who can hold their hand. Women have left prison and committed suicide because they don't have that family support around them.
You know, there's so much to talk about. Because I want to ask you about your child, I want to ask you about your family, but I'm going to go to Esther first. Having served your time, and then you're coming back to the society and coming back to your friends and family, how did they receive you? And did they visit you or did they neglect you when you're behind bars? Did you ever feel hopeless? Did you ever feel let down?
Okay, there's a certain myth or mindset that people have when somebody is taken behind bars.
Yes.
Okay, there are those people who felt, no, Sarah, no, there is a mistake somewhere. Yeah. You know, because I'm not bragging, but you know, there's that time you've taken time to build, you know, a good name for yourself, and then this happens. But just like my colleague has said, I took it as a blessing in disguise. My friends came, my church members also came to see me. I had to be strong for myself first, because I knew this has found me, and I've got to be strong. No matter what is happening or no matter what I feel, I've got to be positive. So the ones who would come to visit me in prison, they would go like, no, Sarah, I think God has a reason for you to be here, you know. Hear that statement, I think God has a reason. Yeah. And you know, you're like, oh yeah, I think God has a reason. But if you asked me deep inside, I was really asking God a lot of questions. I was asking him so many questions, you see. But if you ask me today, I tell God, thank you, I went through that experience. Because I've become more deliberate about some things that I was not even concerned about. Yeah, like I told you, I am so passionate about being a life coach. I was not interested about my well-being. I mean, for what? Wake up in the morning, okay, go, you make sure you've eaten. But did you even take time to understand what is happening inside of you? To even just get to know that what triggers me and I get angry, you know, most of the time you don't even take care of that. You know, you're like, maisha tuendelee, let's continue with life. But out of that experience, I am so careful with even a negative thought in my mind, because I know what damage it can do to me if I dwell in anything negative. So I would say this was a blessing in disguise for me, because it has helped me to be so careful, so deliberate, so intentional about my wellness. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Yeah, nowadays I don't just, you see the way you just wake up in the morning, okay, let's go and pray, let's go do this. No. There's time for everything. And I am so, I plan myself that, okay, there's time for prayer, there's time to work, there's time to be with the family, there's time to go and exercise, there's time to eat. Which before,
it was not a big deal.
Yeah, I've come from work, you throw your shoes wherever you've thrown them, go look for tea and everything. But do you even have time to reflect about your life? Which that is what imprisonment did to me. Nowadays, I am so deliberate. I don't just get home and I go like, throw your shoes, look for whatever I can be able to eat. No, I come, I sit down, check myself. How was the day? How was everything? So how is my family? Is my emotions affecting them in any way? Or are we moving together? So it was a blessing in disguise.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
Was there a point you looked at the prison environment and looked at your situation as better off than somebody else's? Are there people who are worse off in prison?
You know, when you go to prison, there is nothing like somebody has done a bigger problem than yours.
Yeah.
You are all in Kungoro, you know. There's no like, Uliali, that person murdered, this person stole, this one was found lottery.
Yes.
You are all in that cage together.
Equal.
Yes. And after all, whom are you even trying to think that they are better than you? At the end of the day, you will have to be counted like everybody else. You will have to squat like whether you are the richest, you left your car parked out there, all of you are wafungwa. So you are all in the same level. There's nothing like somebody is better off. You are all equal, wafungwa. That is the name.
Wow. Have you ever felt discriminated in any way? Because you bear that tag, I am an ex-inmate. Have you ever felt it? Even the flimsiest of it,
everything is in the mind.
It's in the mind.
And like I told you, I've really worked on my mind. You know, the world doesn't care. You are in prison, so what? Let's see what you're going to do about yourself. That's what the world is all, that is what the world is interested about, you know? So discrimination is there. It is there, and it will be so much an impact if you allow it. You know, if you allow what you went through to define you, then the discrimination is gonna be of an impact. Let me give an instant, like when I went to serve. I didn't serve in Nairobi when I was given my community service order. I went to Shags where I felt nobody knew me. Shock on me when I arrived, everybody knew I was behind bars. Jesus. You know, so my first time I went to go and give God thanks. You've released me before time, you know. And then they're like, and we want to invite the daughter of so-and-so whom was behind bars for 1 year and 4 months. Hey! I'm like, okay, I accept it. And
so you walked up?
Yes.
What did you say?
Yeah, I said, thank you so much, guys, for praying for me. Because that was not an easy journey. I was really, really grateful because somebody took their time to pray. And I think there's no better way to define somebody who was behind bars. You were behind bars, that's the truth. You see? So I accepted it, and I had to label myself again. I told God, I'm going to get my label back. Because things do happen, yes, but I'm not going to be what I'm being defined. I'm going to be what I feel, and what I'm going to do from here is what matters. And that's what God has done. And I think there's a way that nature just responds to when you change your mindset and when you go for it. Nature somehow, I don't know how it happens, just responds back.
We are about to take a short break, but Cyprian, you mentioned something about your daughter. Do you feel like there are certain sacrifices that you made while serving your time in prison, even if it was just a short time of 6 months? Yeah. Do you feel like you're paying for something? Like, does that play in your mind?
Yeah. What happens is that I would have gladly gone to take her back and be with her, but this is a sacrifice because you just don't go and grab her, because people have taken time to take care of her as my daughter. People have paid a price to make sure that she was in school, and one of the best schools at that time, that her school fees was paid, that she was dressed, and I was not there. And so yes, I have gone, yes, I have served time. I feel like I have had to sacrifice and let her be in that space for now. And it's such a tricky and a tricky balancing act. And for most of the women who leave their children on the outside, some leave them even with people who you don't even know. Some get out and start looking for their children. But I am glad that I had a family that stood around her. So many times, if you've gone through, and I'm speaking about me myself, I went through this system, and many times I feel like I have to make that sacrifice for purposes of ensuring that everyone is taken care of and that I'm not being selfish at the end of the day. Yeah. So
what do you miss about having her around?
What I miss about having her around is the fact that she has grown. She's called Star. She has really grown, and when I was spending time with her this December, I was looking at her and saying, I really love the confidence that has come with how she was explaining things. And so I miss just seeing those milestones. Yeah, seeing those milestones of how she has grown, of who she's turning to be. Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is Her Standards. We are having a very heavy conversation. The thing about issues that affect us as women is some discussions are very difficult. Some conversations are very difficult to have, but that doesn't mean that we cannot talk about them. Today, we are talking about life after prison for women. This is a reality that many women are facing across the globe. And therefore, we are looking at how women can adjust to life after prison. How do they deal with the stigma? How do they rebuild their life? I know you have comments for us. If you want to join us, you can find us on social media across the board at KTN Home, or you can talk to me directly at Queenie Mbori on Facebook and Instagram, or Queenie Saina on Twitter. The hashtag to use is Her Standards. When we come back, we will delve deeper into what our panelists of today are doing about rebuilding their lives. They are part and parcel of an organization called Clean Start. Do not go away. Let's talk more about that after the break.